What's up, Alphas? It's Zelmay, and of course I'm with
Classic Ruby, y'all. What's up? What's good? What's happening? What's popping this lovely Memorial Day Monday? That's right, y'all. We are finally doing our news and a discussion day on the correct day, the Monday. Okay. And it just happens to be a holiday in America. So, first and foremost, happy holiday to y'all, Americans, including Zell. I hope you guys are having a lovely, safe, wonderful holiday. I don't know what the holiday is for. Ours was last weekend, and I told you it's just a drunk fest, basically, in Canada. So,
what it is here too.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is that what y'all been doing this weekend?
It's Memorial Day for your veterans, and you just eat barbecue and drink and have fun with your family at random picnics or beaches or whatever.
Nice. Okay. Well, I mean, I wish I lived near a beach or Canada was almost ever warm enough for the beach weather, but that's cool. I'm still happy for y'all, sort of. But we do have some great news for those of y'all who could make it today. And thank you so much for taking your time out on this holiday weekend to be here with us. We have some great news, and then we do have a zesty discussion topic for y'all in the 1 hour mark. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a really great first time on a Monday day. What do you think, Sal?
It is. It's Memorial Day. Hope everybody had a great weekend on Tizzy. I hope you handle the business, my guy. But Shar, you too. Everybody have fun. I hope everybody had a great weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we do got some stories. Now, this first story, y'all decide for me. Y'all help me out. Tell me if y'all think this man is strange. I happen to think he's strange. Y'all can let me know in the comments as we speak on it, because this is my first time seeing it. And when I did this video, learned a little more, but let's let the video talk.
All right.
I wasn't supposed to make another video today. That's why you see the same shirt. This is the next morning after the Tuesday show. And I did 2 videos, 3 maybe, before this. I don't remember how many. And I was supposed to be done. I was supposed to be finished. But then I caught wind of a psychopath TikToker. This man's name is TizzyEnt. And it is the strangest story. This man right here is sick. You want me to show you how sick he is? We have to. He is talking, by the way, in these videos. Let's go. Let's watch this. Watch this first.
Good morning, everyone. If you have a moment, hop over to Iona Loves Sean XX. She likes to come up with my videos and comment that I'm a which I take a slight issue with, considering I'm a father and an uncle, and that shit disgusts me. She's one of those people who thinks the internet exists so that her 10-year-old ass can say whatever she wants with no repercussions.
What? Wait, she's 10? I was under the impression she was 12. She's 10? Dude, you're beefing with a 10-year-old. This is going to get a little dark as we go through it. I just want y'all to understand. That's why I got my juice heart.
Her account private because she was afraid of everyone coming to visit her. So my suggestion is you could send her a friend's request, then bomb her page once she accepts.
Why are you harassing a 10-year-old? Why are you sending people on TikTok? TikTok need to be banned.
You could simply report her account.
Also because...
But I think it's a good lesson to learn that you can't just say whatever you want and not have repercussions.
Here we go again. We're going to look at this one. Listen, at first it seemed weird, but it gets weirder. It gets much, much weirder.
Hi, everybody.
So the other day I posted a video about a young girl who decided to jump on my videos and leave comments about how I'm a pedophile. And when I approached her about it, she was like, I don't give a fuck, I can do what I want, I can say what I want.
She's 10.
And I was like, cool. And I sent you all to pay her a visit, and many of you did, and thank you for that. Well, her account was called Iona Loves Sean, and it's all about how she's obsessed with her boyfriend, Sean, even though they're 12 years old. Well, today, I found Sean. Now, here's the thing. I don't want anyone to go give Sean hate. Actually, Sean seems like a really sweet guy. If anything, I think Sean deserves better. So I figure there's got to be some followers here that are around the age of 12. Lovely young ladies who are also nice. So why don't you hop over and pay Sean?
Are y'all seeing this? What? Oh, what?
I am 36 years old. One girl said I was gross for obsessing over a 15-year-old boy. This charming little cunt. Now see right there? That used to say I am 36 years old. I wonder why she changed it. I'm not stupid. I know she isn't 36, but she wants to play grown-up games. And a quick look at her content proves that she whores herself out for troll boys because she clearly has the self-esteem of a dog turd. One girl said,
My help finding it? There's multiple videos on my page back from when it happened. Do you motherfuckers just find Google? I love how there's a bunch of you now like, oh, the smoking gun. You all are ridiculous. So the comment is claiming that I said inappropriate things to a 13-year-old. So allow me to paint a picture and a brief recap. I called out an edgelord on this app. These are these little troll kids who like get together with other troll kids and they just do things like they'll find someone who's gay, like a kid, and just harass them and try and get them to unalive themselves. Or they'll just say horribly racist things from sock puppet accounts. But I called him out on his account and then he went and got his army of virgins to come.
I just want y'all to read
I
it
was
in a minute.
gross for obsessing over a 15-year-old boy.
Yo, by the way, doesn't he have a five voice? I'm just being. I'm gonna have to edit that part out. But don't he? Let's just be honest. Let's see part 2.
Instagram exposing me. Thanks to you, he finally told me who it was, and I found the video in question. I'd love to show you it, but it's gone now, so I'll tell you what was there. So the video featured a girl who has very large breasts, 42E I think is what she said. She's wearing a full shirt, it's all covered up, but she said her life sucks because that's all guys see. It's like the only physical thing they find appealing about her. This came up randomly in my feed as I was scrolling, and I saw that and I took the video to be very genuine, like someone who really was bummed. And at the end she showed her face, and I thought she had nice eyes, so I left a comment that says no.
Commentary might not need to be said. Like, this is. I don't really care about some of this. Y'all see some of the stuff he did. This dude is unhinged. He is a psychopath. He can talk crazy and send his followers at me or whatever. I'm a grown man. I don't care. Hey, listen, you come up to me. I told y'all the problem is the problem. I handle my problems. Whatever. I'm a grown man, sir. I am a very grown man. Live in that Mississippi, believing that gun-toting, Bible-toting state. So I'm good over here. But he bullying little kids. He's making weird comments. Sir, I can see how she might assume that you are one. You make this little weird voice. You do these. It's a 16-year-old girl. Had nice breast. 42E, I think. Listen, if I had a child, he say something about him, it wouldn't have to be coming to me. That's all I'm saying. I just want y'all to be aware of these people out here on TikTok. Delete your TikTok. All that. I agree with the old white people. I never said I thought I say that. They done got me the Jesus hat, and I got my Bible. I got Goku. I got signs now. They're gonna probably. I'm gonna have to switch my sign from Alpha to Trust Jesus. They done got me 100% back in my. I'm gonna be on here being very Christian. We need the internet, man. Like and subscribe. I don't know. So, hey, listen, I ain't got words. Ruben, take it away.
I disagree, man. I disagree. Here's the thing, and I understand, back in the days, we used to see, 10-year-olds as this protected class that should be protected in all ways. But since parents don't parent their children, and parents never keep their kids off of the internet, keep them on child-only sites, keep them in child-only discussions, nor do parents teach children that, hey, when they come at each other and just insult them and say whatever they want to say, however they want to say it, with as much vitriol as they want to say it, and it's complete lies, and you're lying about another 10-year-old, it's cool. But when you do that to adults, you ruin their life. And it's not okay. It's not funny. It's not cute with your little friends that you ruined this person's life, because you're seeing it like the way your life gets ruined when you're 10, right? Which is like you're upset for like a week and none of your friends will talk to you. And then in like 2 weeks, you've forgotten about it, right? Like, I mean, children put themselves into these positions where they want to play grown man things and, grown man games. So therefore, you should get grown man prizes. That's just what it is to me. I don't feel sorry for these kids because I know, and the edgelord, and no, I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for them because they intentionally go out of their way to attack adults, much in the same way that women, let's be real, women would go to a club and whatever, and they feel they can punch every man in the face and then be protected from being hit back because they're women. Okay, these kids are doing the same thing, okay? And they're probably learning it from their mamas who do stuff like that. But the point is that they're doing the same thing, okay? And then what are the adults supposed to do? They're just supposed to be like, it's okay. Let's teach her as a child that it's okay for her to do this until her adulthood. And then when they do it in their adulthood and they ruin people's lives continuously, then we get mad. Like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think he's wrong. I don't. They're not a protected class. They're not on the internet.
Listen, the most disturbing thing I saw was the 42E comment about some 15-year-olds. Listen, I yell at kids, but I'm not finna harass kids. That's the only thing about me.
Well, how did he harass the kids? Where was the actual harassment?
Listen, sending a group of people at a 10-year-old is insane to me. That's just me. Y'all don't have to agree with me. Y'all let me know in the comment. And then, I'm just saying, Tizzy, how do you? We do got another story. By the way, it's finna get real sad because we got two stories. We're gonna do them. We probably gonna just shoot them. We're gonna speak on a little bit and then they back to back. So we do have two stories back to back with my home state involved, which saddens me. But we have to talk about it because we hold back nothing. Let's get into these two stories.
Guys, not gonna lie, this one's a really hard one for me. I have had a really hard time with this story. I have had a hard time even reading the details because of the things that play in my mind. So we're just gonna watch the video, and I promise I'm gonna try to make it through it. I really am.
He called 911 needing help, but then he was shot in the chest by an officer. This 11-year-old boy from Mississippi is now thankfully at home and recovering this morning, but his family is demanding to know why things went so wrong. CNN's Nick Valencia is tracking this story. Nick, I mean, obviously that is everyone's immediate reaction here is how does a child who calls the police for help end up being shot by the responding officer? What do you know?
Well, his mother tells me, Caitlin, that after Aderrien Murry was shot in the chest by police, he asked his mother, what did I do wrong? Why did I get shot? And according to his mother, Nicaila Murray, all of this unfolded at 4 a.m. on Saturday when she says the father of a...
Like, I want y'all to look at this. He's a boy, you know? I'm not saying it makes it better, that, you know, children who grow a little bit faster or whatever have the exact same treatment. Like, I'm not saying that, right? But like, you can look at him. He is a baby, you know, like, and despite living in a country that literally demonizes just him just at birth, basically, for things that are beyond his control, namely his gender and his race. You know, he seems like a pretty sweet kid who still believed in justice and fairness and that, you know, the police are there to help you. He believed that if you just do everything right, that everything will be okay, that the authorities will come and protect the innocent people. He believed. And that's why when he got shot after doing everything right, that's why all he could ask is, what did I do wrong? You know, like, what did I do wrong? Keep watching.
The father of another one of her children showed up at her home at 4 a.m, irate. She was scared for her safety, so she snuck a cell phone to Aderrien to tell him to call 911. He did. And she says when the officer showed up at her home, he had his gun drawn already. He asked everyone to get out of the home. And that's when Aderrien came from around the corner of a hallway into the living room. And she says that police officer opened fire once, shooting him in the chest. Aderrien was put on a ventilator at the ICU.
I want you to listen to that again.
Irate. She was scared for her safety, so she snuck a cell phone to Aderrien to tell him to call 911. He did.
So I want y'all to think about this, right? Okay, so a grown, irate man is in the house. The mother is fearing for her own life and the life and safety of her children who are in the house. So she sneaks a cell phone to her 11-year-old, tells her 11-year-old to get help. Call 911. Let's get some help here, right?
Did. And she says when the officer showed up at her home, he had his gun drawn already. He asked everyone to get out of the home. And that's when Aderrien came from around the corner of a hallway.
Now, I want y'all to think about this, okay? A child called. I'm sure the child, because you're saying, my mommy did it, they're going to ask. And I can't wait until the phone call and the footage actually are released. And you can bet your bottom dollar people are they're already protesting, okay? So, and they're lucky that this little boy lived. They're lucky this little boy lived, because if the little boy didn't live, Mississippi would be burning. Real talk. Now, when you listen to what they're saying, okay, a little boy, a child called to say, hey, my mommy is not safe. There's this man here, whatever, right? At that time, they ask you questions. So they know that there's a child on the phone with them, that there are other children in the house. There's the mother, and then there's this one irate, scary guy, right? They are aware of this. Despite that, despite the information that the responding officers are given by the 911 operators, what they choose to do is walk into the house with a gun drawn already. Then a small child who was on the phone with 911, remember, right? Now comes around the corner with his hands in the air. And even though this guy did not just say that, trust me, I have reviewed this several times. The child had his hands in the air. The child had his hands in the air. Okay? He was prepped by the 911 operator. He knew what he was supposed to do. He came around the corner with his hands in the air. Uh-oh. And the cop shot him. And that's why, as he now sat there with a chest wound, a gunshot wound from the so-called help that was supposed to arrive to his house and help him and his family to prevent injury to his mother, his siblings, and himself. Now, as he lay there shot and bleeding out, right? All he could think is, what did I do wrong? This small child got shot for what? His hands were in the air.
into the living room, and she says that police officer opened fire once, shooting him in the chest. Aderrien was put on a ventilator at the ICU at the University Medical Center in Jackson, Mississippi, about 100 miles away. This all unfolded in a predominantly black area of the Mississippi Delta, a very impoverished community. He suffered a lacerated liver, fractured lungs, and developed a collapsed.
Of course it was an impoverished community. Of course it was. Of course it was. Because they're going to take all the rejects from all the other places where there's like middle class and above people. They take all the rejects, right? And they don't just fire cops. I don't know why. They don't fire their rejects. What they do is they just keep moving them. Like the same way that the Catholic church does with all of their shady priests, right? They just keep moving them. They do the same thing with cops, right? They will sit there and just, cops, you might get fired in this precinct, but it doesn't mean you can't get hired in the next precinct over or in the next state over. And it happens all the time, right? And so the rejects can just keep getting hired in the worst possible places, right? And so now you have this precinct for, you know, this impoverished, of course, black community. And yeah, of course you're going to have all of the worst kind of cops there. Of course you will. Right? Because you can't afford to put the rejects in, you know, the upper middle class and the, you know, the upper class neighborhoods. Oh, no. They have to have the best of the best. They have to have the ones who can think, who can logic, who can reason, who can see an 11-year-old and not shoot them, even though the 11-year-old has his hands in the air.
Developed a collapsed lung and fractured ribs, as well as a lacerated liver. All of this, Caitlin, was reportedly caught on police body camera, though that has not been released. Caitlin?
What's the sense of why that body camera footage has not been released yet?
I want to make this clear. We repeatedly called the local police department yesterday to try to get answers from them. They never got back to us after multiple messages left. But the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, they did get back to us to say that they are not releasing this body camera because of an ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, this officer has been identified as Greg Capers. The local board of aldermen voted to place him on paid administrative leave. The family and the family attorney, they're making this very clear. They want this officer charged. They want him fired. They're planning a sit-in protest at the local city hall later this morning.
Now, here's 11-year-old Aderrien, right? So he is recovering from his injuries. This is a recent picture. This is... I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Here's my issue is this. I want y'all to just, he's so little. This is Aderrien next to the family lawyer who's going to help them with this case. This is a grown man. This is Aderrien. He's like half this man. It's not like he doesn't even have like a little teen size yet. He's boy sized. He's a child. You didn't mistake this for a grown man. This is a child. So I think that is number one, what really gets me. I'm going to show y'all the second thing that really gets me. This is what really gets me. Ladies and gentlemen, Officer Greg Capers. Most of us, and myself included, I would say, and I've always said, right, that if it's a black cop that pulled up behind me, more often than not, I'm going to be slightly more afraid because there's something about them desperate to, join the thin blue line and to prove they're part of the good old boys club that can be incredibly dangerous to other black people. But of all the things I thought I do generally think that cops are not so evil as the fact that they'd want to intentionally gun down children. They have just been conditioned, as has most of society been conditioned, to see black people as a threat, to see melanin as a weapon, and to over-adultify our children from very young ages. And so that way, when they look at our 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, they see grown-ass people instead of seeing children. And I've spoken to you guys about the fact that the studies have proven that just in, recent times, really since the last 20, 30 years, that their adultification of our children went from seeing like 12-year-olds as adults to seeing 8-year-olds as adults. But guess what? If you are black, then you don't have those same quirks. right? Because you were born and raised Black, you were born and raised around Black people, and so you see them accurately. When we're talking about these implicit biases and stuff, we're talking about people looking at things from a cross-cultural perspective, not from a within their own culture perspective, right? And so when I see that a Greg Capers, the cop who did this, is Black, it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it that Greg was always corrupt and always saw, Black youth as a threat? Or is it that being on the force for what looks like maybe a long time, considering all the grayness, is that what turned you into seeing all young Black boys as a threat? And I don't know. I don't know the answer. But what I do know is that he's very lucky Mississippi's not burning right now. And that's only because that young man survived. Aderrien Murry survived. No thanks to him. But I really hope that this criminal charges must be brought here. They must be. And I hate when it's the fact that, honestly, every time a non-white cop does something wrong, they always bring the criminal charges, right? They're always holding cops accountable, but the only cops they'll hold accountable, generally are the non-white ones. And I hate that. But you know what? No, I'm going to be 100% right there advocating, right here, throw him under the jail. Because not only did you damn near kill that boy, you shot that boy with his hands up. You shot that boy when your information was that there was an 11-year-old boy who was calling you to begin with. You shot that boy in his own home. You a Black face, shot that boy, another Black face. He will never trust another Black cop. The amount of harm that you did here on so many different levels. Because, we want to encourage Black people to sign up, become cops, and, so that way we can have our own on the force. But then we're not going to trust our own if this is every time that we hear this is the end result. It's worse. It feels like the end result is worse when the cop is Black. So, no, I really hope that he's not only right now he's on, paid administrative leave, the normal company line. But no, I really, really want him to suffer consequences for this. And I really, really want Aderrien to see him suffer consequences for this. And I really want to see cops, but especially Black cops, now come out in force and speak out against this man. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing.
Listen,
I don't know.
Listen, again, that's my home state. I do not live in the Delta, and I want to explain something. That place is so impoverished that I had to write a report because the Delta is on the west side of Mississippi, on this little side right here where they do not care. That's where most of the 40-some% of Black people live. I live in the metro, which is the majority of that Black space. The southern part and the north part don't have many Black people. But that place is impoverished. The police don't do anything. The government don't care about it. They water dirty. They do not care about it. Their books are from 1800 and they write reports that all of a sudden, why is the Delta struggling? Like all their books are from 1892. I'm just being honest. I had to do a report on it from my area. My area is, my school predominantly white, but I'm closer to this Jasper County, which is predominantly Black. So it's kind of like an even thing. So, like, Mississippi is a strange bag because it's based on where you are and who you mess with. And that area right there is where a lot of racism happens, even though there are almost no white people there. It's the strangest place. And they just accept it, too. It's weird because in my area, which is kind of mixed, with Rankin County being predominantly white, my county, predominantly white, but kind of even, like 65, 35, 60, 40. And then the other area, they don't really do that over here as much, even though there is a case in 2017 that something happened. And I'm gonna let Ruby talk, and then because it's another story right about the same area. It's literally like this is Indianola, and there's another. I do have it is a place called Rasheem Carter, who is not from here, but he's right down the road. His family and them right down the road. And I have not done that story yet, but I am. But I kind of know them, so I want to be respectful to their family if I do that. So that's why I haven't did the Rasheem Carter story. If y'all ever heard about that, so. Ruby, anything you want to say before we go to the next one? Or we going to just combine the next two?
Yeah, obviously I have something to say. Yeah, no, but I think the thing is, and again, you know, when people think about, and I really want to take this time to make this one point, and when people want to say that white privilege is not a thing or it doesn't exist, right? White privilege is having an 11-year-old who has no idea how to deal with the cops, that would not even think even a little bit that if the cops show up, that they would have to put their hands up. They wouldn't think those rules apply to them. So little white girls, little white boys, even, they would never in a million years consider that they would have to follow some kind of rule. If they got shot, they would never in a million years be thinking, oh my God, what did I do wrong? So much as they would be hysterical, they'd be crying because they would never think that it's their fault, something they must have done. Right. And that is the difference. That's what white privilege is all about. Right. Because our children, way before the age of 11, that kid knew. Right. I'm sure the 911 operator also say, hey, make sure you did it, and, you know, whatever. Right. But that kid knew because we have to tell our kids from younger and younger and younger ages. We have to tell them and prepare them like they're grown people because the world is going to treat them like they are grown people. The adultification, the over-sexualization we have of our children, right? And it's bad enough when it's them over there. When it's us, when it's our adults, when it's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be going, yay, we have a black cop. We got a brother on the force. Yay, we're policing our own. We're supposed to be happy about that. And when our own are doing this to our own, adultifying little 11-year-olds, shooting them when they walk around a corner. There's no way you thought that was an adult. There's no way you thought that person was, that this little boy was a threat. There's no way. And you were given the information to know that kid was hiding somewhere in the house calling 911. You were given that information. You shot him anyway. You know what I mean? Like that is where we're at right now. And then you wonder what the hell the problem is with race relations between black people and the cops, between black people versus white people, why we don't think that we're being racist for calling a white person a cracker, because this is what we're dealing with on the other side of that. Oh my God, your feelings were hurt because you were called a cracker. Guess what? My feelings were hurt because that 11-year-old boy got shot with his hands in the air, and all he could think to say is, what did I do wrong? Do you know what I mean? Like I can't, like it's so beyond me. So we might as well go to the other story, because honestly, like, I'm actually like emotionally, and it's been like 5 days, and every time I think about that kid just saying, what did I do wrong? Like I just can't. So yeah, let's go. I can calm down. I promise I can calm down.
This story is near and dear to me because it is indeed in my home state. And everybody knows the reputation of my home state. My home state is Mississippi. For people that don't know, it's a lot of uneducated people in the state of Mississippi, because all you learn is Mississippi burning, the Emmett Till story, many more stories, because Jim Crow times, it was insane. My dad was a sharecropper. My mom was a school teacher. Life wasn't always the best. My dad went to Vietnam. Life changed. 1972, my uncle graduated. I think that's it. 1973, something like that. My uncle graduated. People started co-opting each other, but it was some hard time. But let's talk about this story. Mother seeks answer after 23-year-old son was discovered hanging from a tree less than a month after moving to Mississippi. This put fear in you, and I understand why. So I had to get on this, but we're gonna go over what the report is saying. A family is grieving after learning their relative James Cooper, 23, was discovered hanging from a tree less than a month after moving to Greenville, Mississippi. According to a GoFundMe campaign launched by Cooper family to help bring him a proper funeral, Cooper relocated to Mississippi from Milwaukee, Wisconsin with his girlfriend on April 28 to seek a better life. Family members received a call from Greenville officials on May 10th, revealing that Cooper was discovered. Now, this case, I'm not going to go and just defend my state. This is a lot of craziness in the state, but I had questions. I did have questions because I know good and well that white people wasn't going to Greenville or Greenwood or anywhere in Delta to do this to him. So I had to talk to some people from Greenville. One of my friends, her mother went to church with him. He apparently visited a couple times. His girlfriend is black. Greenville is a almost all black area. But come to find out where it wasn't even in Greenville. It was a little town north of Greenville. I think north. I forgot the name of the town. Let's see if it's on here. I don't know if they put the town on here where he was found. Cooper's mother revealed. Y'all can read that as we go down. Trying to see what the name of the city was. By the way, that's my friend who knows him. It's by where. So apparently, he got caught in a little northern city. Probably one he don't know about. Unfortunately, in Mississippi, that is still around. Not in my area, but in that Delta area, it's a lot of weird things go on the coast too. A lot of sundown towns. In the middle part where I'm at, it's mostly predominantly a mixed area. You have Jasper County and Jackson, Mississippi, which is majority black, and you have Rankin and Smith County, which I'm from, which is predominantly white, but still a lot of black people. So it's still in thing. So I did talk to my friend, and apparently he was in another location, which seems is more likely to me, and we don't know what happened after that. We can assume, based on the location she told me, or she said, it appears that it's not the area he was in. That's all I'm saying. It's a very dangerous area. So I'm interested in the story. We're going to keep up with it. We're going to update it as we go. Mississippi is a dangerous place, but it's so Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, California. They're all dangerous. That's not me defending Mississippi because some places is horrible. Rankin County is up the road from me. It's a horrible place, but they usually don't do this. It was an incident in 2017, but that don't happen too much. And usually, and Ahmad, guy from literally 15 miles up the road, had an incident too. I can contact his mother and the police and everybody and get information on, but I did not want to. We're going to let the media do it. I'm too close to that one. This one I'm not close to, but I hope he gets his justice. And if something happened to him, which it appears it did, I'm not even going to front. But I can't say 100% sure. I can say 99% sure. But if something happened to him, he got to get his justice. So remember his name, the young man Cooper, James Cooper, 23-year-old. This is sad. Be careful out here, man. And learn your location, man. And that's just not in Mississippi. That's in almost every state.
Like, what's the other 1%? I'm confused. You said 99% sure something happened to him. What would be the other 1%? What's the other, like, he slipped and fell as he was climbing the tree?
No,
and like
it's a lot of it's a lot of racist black people there too. So I'm the 99% was white. The 1% was a racist black dude who just came around. So it's that area. The area very strange. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I'm not saying that area is not strange. I am saying though that I have heard like literally like 100% of all lynchings are not committed by people who are dark with melanin. I mean, let's be real, right? I'm not saying like if a black person ends up dead in general, right? I wouldn't be like, oh, it's gotta be those with no melanin who did it, right? I wouldn't do that. But lynching is not a black on black crime, right? Like if you're gonna go black on black crime, let's be real, that's not a black on black crime. But I think my issue would be like, I don't know, like I feel like maybe because you've just been born and raised in this state, you don't see how crazy some of the things you said were. Like you were like, oh, it doesn't happen too often. I mean, yeah, like the last incident was only in 2017. Do you know how many people have been lynched in Mississauga, Ontario ever? Like none, right? Like not since the advent of my life. Right. So, I mean, like the fact that you're like, it's not too often because the last time was only in 2017 is wild to me. That's wild. Like 2017, dude, that is very recent. That is very, very recent. The fact that this guy moved from not from Mississippi to Mississippi, and within like a month, he's being lynched. I know what it is because he got too uppity. Right. Because especially if you move, that's why I think it's like, if you move from somewhere like here. Right? If I moved to the South, okay, I'm a little informed, but let's say I wasn't. Because of the way I've been allowed to live my life, I wouldn't be sitting there thinking like I got to stay segregated over here, and the water fountain thing still thing and all that stuff, right? Like I would think probably they would be lynching me really soon because I would be too big for my britches, I think, and I think that's exactly what happened to this young man.
You got to be careful where you go, who you talk to in areas. Especially over, like I said, in that area, because like I said, the areas that are white people, they are very racist in the Delta because they get the same treatment poor black people get because it's majority black. So your fault for living over there. You can't live in a nice coastal area. All y'all gotta suffer. So they do. That little areas will take it down. So if you ever go to Delta, be careful. And usually, interesting fact, they usually do not look like, dude in the overalls, you'll see. They just meet one of y'all, but if y'all ever dudes in overalls, probably not the racist unless they are just they'll be open. Dudes in suits, those are dangerous dudes because it's very interesting that most people think, oh, the little redneck looking dude is the racist one. No, it's that dude in the suit right next to him. That dude just like to mud ride and do crazy stuff. So it's very weird. That's why they be all judges and senators. That's who the racists be in Mississippi. So.
Well, I'm ready to get the hell out of the South. No disrespect. Let us go to Chicago, where the uppity folk are. That's where my next story is. I'd rather be there. It feels more comfortable, less lynchy. Let's do that. Guys, graduation is in the air, right? I mean, I just recently saw Mama Rubes graduate. Shout out to her, y'all. Shout out to her. And I'm sure a lot of other people are seeing their friends, family, loved ones graduate right now. Now, for men, I'm sure you just went and rented a suit, if that, right? I mean, that's only what guys do, I guess. I don't know. But for women, it is an extravagant affair, whether you are graduating from the 8th grade, the 6th grade, high school, college, it doesn't matter, right? It is a whole thing. And if you're lucky enough, you might even be able to get yourself a custom-made dress. Well, unfortunately, for this graduation season, a lot of people are going to be going, unfortunately, without. Is it because the dressmaker failed? No. It's because she was robbed and insurance is only willing to pay out so much. Let's take a look.
Prom dress plunder. A Southside dress shop owner says she was attacked over the weekend, several of her dresses stolen. And what's worse, customers who ordered dresses for prom now have no dresses to pick up. NBC5's Natalie Martinez is live with the very latest. Natalie?
Allison, tonight a dressmaker is devastated and some prom goers and their parents are angry.
Yeah.
Chicago police tonight are looking for the people allegedly responsible for beating and stealing from a Bridgeport dressmaker in her shop.
I was sitting here taking a dress off this dress form, and then the woman came behind me, hit me on the head, knocked me on the ground, stepped on me while she was taking my head, knocking me on the ground.
Binta Diallo explains how on Friday she was helping a customer with her custom prom dress when she says the mom and aunt attacked her.
They both jumped me while the daughter was stealing dresses in the shop.
She claims that while she was in the hospital, more dresses were taken while her assistant tried to manage the business.
No.
So this was not a stranger thing. And the reason why I say that, now I don't know what they're going to say in the rest of this story. I'm watching this blind with y'all. But I'm pretty sure this can't be a stranger story. And the reason why is because how would you know that it's a mom and an aunt that jumped you while the daughter was doing da-da-da-da-da, right? Like, it seems like, I mean, you could suggest maybe they said some words to that effect, but it seems more likely that these are people that came in before and she recognized them. I mean, as a dressmaker, you would recognize people's body types and whatever, but also, you know, their hair and, you know, stuff like that. You would take note of that because, you know, you're a visual, artistic, creative type. And then, you know, the voices and whatever. So I think she recognized them. Now, I can't say 100%. Right. But that's what it seems like to me, because that's a weird statement to be able to make when you were jumped from behind. I'm just saying.
One of the people that went there that day picked up dresses, paid me.
She also claims that the people seen in this surveillance video burglarized her shop the same night. Then different people came for more again on Sunday. She says despite her own injuries and losses, she tried to make it right. She also claims that the people seen in this surveillance video burglarized her shop the same night. Then different people came for more again on Sunday. She says despite her own injuries and losses, she tried to make it. Then different people came from this video burglarized her shop. The scene in this surveillance video burglarized her shop the same night. Then different people came for more again on Sunday. She says despite her own injuries and losses, she tried to make it right for those who were expecting dresses and wouldn't get one.
I refunded over $30,000 to people.
But money ran out, and she says insurance isn't paying her.
All of those people are hurt because of these people that came to the shop and stole the dresses.
At least one mom says that's an excuse, and she and her 17-year-old are the ones who are devastated.
It's so upsetting, sad, and disappointing, you know, to invest your money with someone and this is how they treat you.
Shonda.
But there's footage, right? There's footage of the people who robbed the store. There's footage of people who went in and out of the store. There's footage. Plus there's eyewitnesses. There's eyewitnesses, right? Of them being in the store while this woman was attacked, while the merchandise was stolen. It's not like she's just making it up. It happened in the middle of the night. No one was around and there's no witnesses. What? Wow. Talk about lacking empathy. Talk about an inability to put yourself inside of someone else's shoes and to not be selfish for 5 seconds. See, this, when people wanted to call Denia Jackson a narcissist, no. This is narcissistic, okay? Someone who literally cannot think outside of themselves for 5 seconds. This is a narcissist. Wow.
Lemon says they never got an apology or much information outside the dressmaker's social media posts. Lemon says they got 90% of the deposit back, but no dress for the prom.
He dropped the ball.
Binta, meanwhile, believes this is it for her and her 9-year-old business.
This is why we don't have businesses in the city.
She filed a police.
Whoa! She dropped the ball? In what way? By actually being so financially secure as a business that she was able to refund you 90% of your deposit, despite the fact that that deposit normally goes to purchasing the materials. She dropped the ball when someone came and robbed her of all of the materials and all of the finished dresses and all of that labor that she'll never get paid for. But she dropped the ball. Woe is you when you got your money back. So now you could just take your money and go buy something else. Really? Y'all, this ain't right. This is not, listen, I understand you being upset, disappointed, whatever it is, right? I get it, but you've got time. You've got time to purchase something new, right? Or even to get the business of someone new. Like, you've got time. It's not like you don't have time. So the fact that you have that time and yet you're saying these things that aren't aligning with actual reality, you don't seem to be mad at the criminals at all. You don't even seem to believe that the criminals exist, which makes no sense at all, given the fact that, again, it's proven. They're investigating the crime. Lots of people saw it. It's not just you. But you're acting like this is like main character syndrome, like on steroids. This is amazing. Wow. No. Listen, I believe that woman 100% recognized the people. I wouldn't be surprised if this woman was one of the people. I would not be surprised if it wasn't her, it was her and a friend and whatever. They made this plan, and they made the plan, and guess what? Now they got 90% of their money back, and they have the dresses that... Someone needs to watch their social media, real talk. Someone needs to watch their social media, because I bet you dollars to donuts, okay? That those dresses, the dress of the girl's dream is going to show up on her body. Amazingly, shockingly, just out of the blue. They bought it from some truck or something, they're going to say.
Police report and only feels safe coming to her shop when escorted by police. She says that used to be her happy place, and now she can no longer go in. It's hard for her to go in. Police, meanwhile, tell us there was no one in custody for the Aderrien theft. We're live at CPD headquarters. Natalie.
No, of course there's no one in custody. Of course there's not, right? Because I'm pretty sure she knows exactly who did this to her, and she knows exactly why, and she's not going to report it. Now I have confirmation, and shout out, thank you so much, Shar. This is a suggestion from Shar, of course, Chicago News. And so Shar is aware of the area, right? And so she says that this is a very safe neighborhood, very, very safe neighborhood. In fact, it's so safe and, so kind of segregated, shall we say, that the only reason why there's a black woman running her business from this area is because that woman is not a black American. She's an immigrant, right? And as we know, immigrants are really only allowed to immigrate if they already come from, the upper crust, the upper echelons of a society. So this is not like some dangerous neighborhood. Oh, people get robbed here all the time. No. What happened is someone either went and got her services, couldn't afford them, and decided, they got a plan. Or she said or did something that they didn't like, so they decided they're going to ruin her life. Because, yeah, you know what? Small people who are hurt love to hurt people. It's what it is. And I'm positive this poor woman, she knows exactly what it is, and she doesn't know how to... I mean, it's kind of like we just said about Aderrien. How are you going to move forward in life when it's your own people? Your own people went out of their way. They saw you thriving. They saw you opening doors to, perhaps to branch out in that area for other people who look like us to be able to open shops in this more affluent neighborhood, be able to get more business and whatever. And what did you do? What did you do with that? You ruined that. And now she's going to look at her own people and see them as possible threats, possible plotting against her. What do you think? Do you think that that woman, the one person who they ended up commenting who clearly was affected, right? But at the same time, nothing she said seemed to line up with the real storyline. Do you think she was involved? Do you think her or her people had something to do with this crime?
I'm not gonna lie, it does seem like she had something to do with this. It's sad because we're in such a rat race to be like on top of any situation, that because we never had stuff, right? So once people get something, they see somebody else with something and they want to do it too, they tend to try to claw it. You can't get ahead of me. It's like when you put a hole, like you make a hole and you put a bunch of people in, and the first one to the top, y'all get rich. And then they were like, "Oh, you can't get rich because I gotta get rich." And I think that's a big problem among, especially even in areas, especially in areas that kind of doing better. It get really doggy dog. The poor areas kind of be somewhat happy for you. But when we both got a chance to do something and we in a nice area, no, you can't get ahead of me. And I think that's a problem that we do have as a community.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but honestly, even in this like imaginary space called cyberspace, right? We see it happen here, like in the Black YouTube sector, right? Everyone's acting like there's a limited amount of possible spectators. So let's all be in competition. And instead of us supporting each other's channels, right? Each one teach one, lifting as we rise. Instead of supporting each other's channels, we want to battle each other. Like we feel like we have to take someone else out for us to be able to grow. So if you grow, then like I can't grow. If you grow, it means somehow I'm losing. And it's like, no, that's not actually how it works. In fact, technically, it works the opposite way if you are being a cooperative, which you can absolutely do, right? I mean, this is why you can look at it, for example, right? We've got a bunch of content creators here right now, right? Or, you know, like Gray Pill Podcast, he's here. Jedi Mike, he's here. You know, there's like Shar, well, I mean, Shar stopped doing content, but she used to, right? Mr. DJ Music. There's a lot of content creators we have right now in our chat, right now, that make content right now, you know, but they're not here sitting there like trying to ruin us. No, they're trying to support us and uplift us, right? Because as we grow, it can only be a positive thing for them, that as we grow, that, you know, we would be able to also shine that light on them and vice versa, right? But that's the way we see it. We're always in competition with each other. And when we see someone doing well, all we want to do is like, you know, it's like, here comes the crabs in the bucket. That's it. That's what it is. Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah. And we got to do better as a people. You support, listen, if I even see it in white space, like they blow up, they all like, hey, look, my friends here, let's make their channels, even if they're not as talented. Like,
facts.
They do that. And ours, like, even if I've seen Black content creators support until that person got big. And then they start bad talking them behind everybody else. And I'm like, that is insane.
Right.
Like, oh, I was just a supporter. They didn't help me at all. I'm like, you were on their channel when they got big the whole time, and then you start talking about them. That's why they didn't put you on no more.
Like, right? I mean, common sense would tell you, right? You would think it's not. Connect the dots, bro. Connect the dots. And just to let y'all know, because I don't know, some of y'all are new, you haven't been here before. Okay, so we have 2 different shows every week. We have our Monday show and our Thursday show. Our Monday show, the first half of it is news, right? And so we're almost done. We have like 2 more news stories left, and that's it. And then the second half will be our discussion / call-in. So you guys can call in about any of these stories or about, you know, anything we've done in the last week. But we will be having a discussion topic. And this one, I don't know, man. I got a lot to say. So, you know, hope y'all are here, ready to speak your piece, ready to call in. I like the call-ins. We've only done like 3 of them. This is like our 3rd one. So I'm super excited. But yeah, so we have like 2 more stories. So let's do the next story. Like 2 more.
Speaking of this content creator, this is something similar. So let's get into it. Listen to me carefully. From passport bros to streamers and everybody alike, I need you to understand something here. You cannot go other places and disrespect them. It's not gonna be good for you. And y'all, please understand that. Let me put the headphones on so I can listen to this with y'all, so y'all can understand what I'm saying. Let's make it big. Let's make it big. Let's listen to this clown behavior right now.
Hiroshima? You know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know why you do this? Pearl Harbor. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Yes.
Why is he harassing him? This dude ain't doing nothing but sitting on the bus. He's doing nothing but sitting on a bus. He's harassing him. Quick story. Went to Japan. Dude, 2 white dudes and a black dude harassing people. I don't know why you do it. Little dude, little police guard come up there. They didn't want to change seats. They wasn't their assigned seat. It's like a 2-minute ride on the train to where they was going. And they just harassed him. My sister, being his, of course, superior, she was a colonel, she told him, who's your dependent officer, all that, because he was part of the military. Again, why do y'all do this? You don't like when somebody come to your place and harass you.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know what we do to you niggas? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We destroy it. Because you niggas don't know how to behave. Wallahi billahi wa tallahi. I swear to God. You do again, we're gonna do again. You understand?
Do you know how devastating it was for them? I'm not even trying to be like this soft dude. Like, I can get a joke, right? You can get a joke off. But just going to their country and be like, we'll bomb you, it's probably not the best thing to do.
You understand, Hiroshima? Yeah, nigga, move away, nigga. Nigga, wallahi, we'll do it again. Wallahi, I swear to God. Wallahi,
Why?
Our power. Niggas don't understand.
This is so American too. It's a black dude who's being like super like American. Like, I can just go over here and harass every country because we're the big bad country. It looks bad. By the way, most country hates us. For people that don't know, you go overseas, you learn. Most of these countries don't even like us. So everybody like, go to passport, bro, do this. They don't like you. They just like your money. And once you're useless to them, y'all listen.
Wallahi, billahi, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. What do you mean?
Where you from?
You know where I'm from?
Where you from?
I'm from America.
This is why we give a bad taste to.
You're from America.
Yeah, you're being obnoxious.
You know what we do to you?
What do you do?
We will do again.
Do what?
Why is he like this?
You understand?
Do you think I'm Japanese?
Where are you from?
I'm from America.
Where are you from? What's your ethnicity?
Texas, buddy.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm Korean.
Then sit down, brother.
Why don't you sit your ass?
Korean War, you know what happened to you?
Come on, don't touch me. Obnoxious, brother.
Don't touch me,
Leave
brother.
this guy alone.
Korean War, North Korean War, you know what we did to you?
Fuck your ass up. Fuck it.
You said to me?
I'm just messing with you, brother.
You better move
Come
away.
on, man. Just
Hey, you
calm
can't.
down.
Hey, listen. Got a little pussy. You should have kept that energy. I don't like that though. You right there. You above me. You can't say those words and not back it up. I would tell my whoop you. Then we would have seen what was gonna happen. I'm just for real. Like, if I take a loss, I take a loss. This is obnoxious.
You know what we do? CX, hashtag
Hey,
CX.
how many subs you have?
Bro, I'm at 1,000 subs right now.
Nice.
You know, bro, I'm making money from this. Cool. Sit down, brother. Enjoy.
But I'm just saying.
Enjoy.
Listen, keep the interest. It's a dude who came up to him later on and saw him and then really pressed him. So I couldn't find the other video of him harassing. I'm getting harassed by somebody later on. But we do have this other story of something that happened on Kick. Kick streamers, suspenders, and slightly homeless were arrested in Nepal after offering marriage to a 15-year-old girl.
Someone is being weird.
I'm just now listen. I'm just letting it go. Just let it go.
No problem. Hello.
Sir, please close that.
Close it?
Please, just a minute.
Okay.
Please close.
What y'all want me to say? They're getting arrested. What y'all want me to
I
say?
don't know. Should we get out of here?
Oh shit, you should get arrested.
Okay, sir. Not to worry. Next.
We're okay?
Not to worry. We are here for a day.
These two guys. Look, those are some trustworthy guys right there, you know what I'm saying? They for sure wouldn't try to talk to a 15-year-old girl, you know what I'm saying?
Putting us out.
Let's see what they say. Once held in Nepal's prison where they face up to 10 years, a woman claimed to be from the U.S. Embassy arrived and discussed the situation. Look, I'm just saying, they're set to be deported, while suspended is set to spend up to 60 days in prison for now. You can go to dexterdo.com to get the full story. Listen, stop, act right when you go places. Don't, the last two, these guys right here, they might need to be in prison. I'm just saying, they think they going to foreign countries. I don't know what they teaching y'all. Listen, I just want to report the news. Y'all know how I feel. These dudes are sick. Listen, we got a lot of stories today. This one is, you got to learn your lessons. You got to take your bruises. Ruby, tell me your thoughts. The world is sick. Streamers.
Listen, Americans are perpetually stupid. No offense, but they are. And the reason why they are is because Americans suffer so badly from, you know, main character syndrome, right? Like they can't even see past the tip of their own noses. So they honestly, like, I understand. Okay, I'm not even saying that y'all shouldn't think America's the greatest, America's the best, America's the richest, America's the strongest. I mean, I was just on a panel last week on the Grey Pill, right? And what always comes up, eventually there's something about, well, we're better than you, Canada. It always happens, right? Why? Because Americans can only see America. And I get it, which means you can only see your own sensibilities, you can only see your own whatever. And Americans do this, right? And so you get this American idiot who thinks, come on, it's just a prank. And he can't see that outside of himself, people might not see it the same way he does. So he can't understand why it is that, like, dude, your life is really at risk now because these people aren't playing with this. And you're talking about something that poisoned and then killed a lot of people for a long time. It's not cute, right? Like, I don't know why you think it is, but it's not cute. The fact, if you live to get back to America, you should stay here. And then I don't know what kind of PR training you need to do or so. I don't know, but it's just like Americans like should not be allowed to just go travel without some type of training for like how to behave properly amongst other people and understand that the rest of the world does not follow America's rules. I don't know. It's your country, Zell. You tell me.
Listen. I don't know what it is, but everybody got this weird thing that we can just do whatever we want because freedom in America. And I'm like, no, you cannot just shoot people. You cannot just do whatever you want. You cannot just go. This was a black dude too. And he was like bragging about mass murder committed to by the people we complain about.
It's like we did it to you. We could do it again. Are you out of your mind? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, we did it. What did we do? No, you didn't do nothing, sir. Sir, in that time, they were harassing your parents, probably, or your grandparents, and trying to make sure you stay in Jim Crow. So, or they sent you to war, and they'll pretend like they like you. Unless you went to Vietnam, then they spit on you. But like they did my dad when he came back. So it's very interesting.
Right, so that way with like like in South Park there's like Operation Get Behind the Darkies. Do you remember that when they did that? Let's see, it was a long time ago. It was like Operation Get Behind the Darkies. Yeah, we need all these black people because we basically want to use them as human shields so that way all of the white soldiers we care about, well, they can live a little bit longer. Like, I don't understand.
That can send this dude, he obviously want to be part of that because he wants them to remember.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So there you go. Why don't you try to remember something about yourself, sir? Like, okay. And honestly, it's not going to get better. If y'all are annoyed with these idiots, that is what we're right about to talk about. But before we do, we got our last story of the night. And listen, y'all, if you're scared of planes, just close your eyes for the next 10 minutes. Plug your ears. It's terrifying. Y'all, honestly, I gotta let you know something about Ruby. If you don't already know, I don't have a fear of flying. However, I do have a fear of plummeting out of the sky to my fiery death, right? I mean, I have issues. And you know when you're afraid of something, like in your mind, a thing can happen, like where, for example, if you're afraid of like heights, and then you go to like somewhere like say the Grand Canyon, you're afraid that if you get too close to the edge, you'll like throw yourself off of the edge, right? Well, I have this like nightmare of myself, right? Because I'm so afraid of flying and I'm afraid of, because I used to be fine with flying until I found out you couldn't just jump out. Like you'd be sucked into the engines and you would die. Because I thought that that's what you could do. You could just jump out. We would all just line up if something went wrong with the plane and we'd all jump out and we'd have our little flotation devices and stuff. And, you know, it's sink or swim. I could swim, so I figured I'd be fine. And then I was told, well, if you jump out, you get sucked into the engines. That was it for me. That started a lifelong fear. So here's the thing. I now have like that nightmare in my head where I think if I get into a plane that I'm gonna like lose my mind and go open the door and they get sucked out the door and sucked into the engine. Right? But then people have always told me, dude, those doors will never open. Not when you're flying. They cannot open, chick. You are being paranoid about nothing for no reason.
It's shocking video just as Memorial Day travel kicks into high gear. A disturbed man opens a plane door during a flight while panicked passengers grip their armrests. And it went on for 5 long minutes. So how could this possibly happen? Airplane doors are supposed to be kept airtight and locked.
Like, bro!
Les Trent spoke with an aviation expert to find out.
Absolute terror.
Right?
A passenger just opened the airplane door mid-flight. A feat said to be impossible. 194 passengers are on board, and they're getting battered.
Bro, like...
by the intense wind. Imagine how they must be freaking out.
Right?
The plane was 600 feet off the ground, minutes from landing in South Korea when it happened.
Dude, not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, but yo, we have multiple angles, right? These people are ballsy because number one, anything I own would not be in my hands because I'd be thinking it's about to go flying out the door. That's only if I was already secured because I'm thinking to myself, like, thank God all these people had their seatbelts on, especially the people right in front of the door. Can you imagine being one of them people right at the emergency exit door? Oh my God, I will never sit there again. Never. Oh my God. Oh my God.
In South Korea when it happened. Witnesses say the passenger was sitting next to the emergency door. He apparently showed no signs that anything was wrong when he suddenly removed a plastic cover, pulled a lever, and the door slid open. How is that even possible? Today, everyone is wondering how the heck this happened.
How the heck do you open the door not supposed to open midair?
It's supposed to be impossible.
It's supposed to be.
How did it happen?
I think the most important thing to identify in this story is the phase of flight that this occurred in. This was at the landing of the aircraft when they are going in for their final approach. It actually is possible to open an emergency exit door.
The man could not have opened the door at 20 or 30,000 feet.
It is physically impossible to open that door when the cabin is pressurized and it's at its normal cruising altitude.
9 people had to be treated at the hospital for breathing difficulties. Talk about scary.
I am actually horrified. Like, I'm actually horrified. Like, I'm actually horrified to the point where I'm not sure I can stand this. Like, I'm never getting on a plane, like, ever again. Okay? Because you're saying it's super, super impossible to open the door if you're higher, I swear. Before it was just impossible, period, as long as the plane was in the air. Like, y'all just keep moving the goalpost. You keep moving the goalpost. Hell no. Nope. I don't trust people. I barely trust myself. Okay? Like, nope. Nope. That's what listen, I'm staying on the ground. Terra firma. It never did nothing to me. Why would I leave it? Nope. Sorry, no more vacations.
Dummy.
Really? Really? For who let that man get that close to the door? Who let that man stand there and figure out how to open the door and then open it? Like, it feels like it would take you some time if you never opened the door. No one ever has. Like, it feels like a lot of things went wrong all at the same time. Like, I've never been more horrified in my life. Okay? First, I believe that you could just jump out of the plane and save yourself. Then I find out, nope, you'll get sucked into the engines. Then I told, don't worry about it. You'll never be able to open that door, the emergency door, like mid-flight. Then I find out, no, of course you can. Guy just wandered up to it one day and did. And yeah, no, you could open it. Like, what? I'm so horrified. I'm so horrified. No. Oh, I'm scared. In my soul, I'm scared. I'm not even on the plane. I'm never taking a plane again. It's great.
Listen. According to him, according to reports, he said he was claustrophobic. And he felt like he needed some air. And I'm like, sir, you are going, by the way, it's not going normal speed. It's descending, and it's an older plane so I had to look up the expert. So it's an older plane, and those are not controlled by the cockpit. so it's just like a automatic. So once it go to a certain height, it can unlock without the pilot doing it because it's an older plane. So he said he was claustrophobic and decided he was gonna open the door. And I'm like, that is the stupidest thing. You got a lot of air, sir. He's going to jail. He's got to go to jail. That is no way. You almost sit,
bruh.
Just imagine if you did. By the way, for y'all that don't know, if you ever been on a plane, once the reason this older plane do it, once it tell you to put your seatbelt on, cause you know when it said we about to land, that sign also automatically unlocks the door, according to what I saw now. So that unlocks the door in the older plane. Now the other planes, the newer plane, only can unlock from the cockpit. So only he can do that. And if he was higher, it's impossible to do because it's too much weight. But they was at an altitude that he somehow could do. So that somehow this man found the perfect time to do this. I like, did you study? Or did you try for 10 minutes until it happened? Like this has to be, the chance that this actually happened is impossible almost. And he did it perfectly.
Bro, the fact that man is alive, because I don't understand how he opened the door and he's still alive to tell the tale. Like, I don't understand why you did not get sucked out of the plane. Other people got injured. I don't hear that. I didn't hear that he got injured or had any breathing issues and whatever, right? Like, he got up out of his seat and opened the door, and then what? Just sat back down so he could get his breeze. I can't even believe this. This is too much. This is just too much. Okay. Yeah. He should have, listen, he should have jumped. If he was going to go and put all the rest of us through that kind of drama, he should have jumped. He should have, at least. Then they could have fixed this janky situation, Vonda. They could have fixed the janky situation. And then you know what? Yeah, no one would ever be able to do this again. Because this is ridiculous. I don't care, old plane, new plane, broad plane, blue plane. I don't care. There's no way that me in a panic or any Karen feeling self-righteous or whatever should be able to open that door. Okay. That's why, y'all remember when they took the Karen and they taped her to the seat? That's why. See, this is what they were afraid of. Idiocy. Okay. And this is why going forward, I don't feel bad at all. I'll never feel bad again for a Karen getting taped to a seat or something. You start acting up, I'm going to think you're going to try to open that door. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll tape you to the seat. You better sit down. That's it.
Listen.
Oh. Nope. I'm good. Okay, let's move on because I'm going to have nightmares for like 6,000 months over this one thing. Really sorry to Bobby, who will be taking a bunch of flights. I'm sure this won't happen to you. Everyone's super aware of it now because it just happened. So don't worry. I hope you're not sitting in those seats though.
Hope you're not coming from Korea because that's where they came from.
That too. There's that. But yeah, okay.
And not be on Spirit. Do not be on Spirit Airlines.
Oh yeah, just don't be on Spirit Airlines in general. Just like in general. It's like the worst. Literally the worst.
Sometimes I just think Spirit sometimes it right out there think the door gonna pop open just because I'm regular to plane. It's gonna just automatically just pop up like the door just gonna fly off because it's old. But we do have a topic. And the topic is, let's go our guest scene. And let's put there you go. We got this guy named Mizzy. Mizzy, y'all know Mizzy from my story. Because Mizzy seems to always do something very dangerous. TikTok prankster Mizzy hit with the new charges after hijacking train GTA in real life. That was the title of his TikTok, GTA in real life. Controversial influencer Mizzy is facing 3 new charges after bursting into the cab of a train and failing with his controls in a viral video sparking online outrage. 18-year-old Bakari Brands Ogaro has become infamous online figures thanks to his controversial prank, and it seems like he has no intention of stopping him anytime soon. Ogaro, better known for his online moniker Mizzy, first sparked outrage on the net earlier this month after users discovered a slew of videos pulling inflammatory pranks on unsuspecting strangers. A few examples of these so-called practical jokes include running off with an elderly woman's dog, walking up to strangers and asking if they want to die, and even entering homes of complete strangers. That's the report I did. So if you want to go back to that, Mizzy is doing that. Follows already, Mizzy was arrested and sentenced to 2 years criminal behavior order that prevents him from ever trespassing on private property, as well as filming others without the express consent in his content. However, it doesn't look as though the court order has put a stop to his antics. Over the weekend, a clip surfaced showing Mizzy and several other youngsters infiltrating the driver's cab of a train, fiddling with the vehicle control, and even blowing his horns. Repost of the clip dubbed the incident GTA Online. Let's go look at this in big screen.
Hey, how did you get there? Let me get in here. Yo, outside. Hey, the man, we outside. Hello, can I call the police? The people on the train. Reality is an illusion.
Now, reality is an illusion, Ruby. That's a key point of this whole thing. Reality is an illusion. By the way, once I get done reading, we will bring up the StreamYard. Well, actually, I can send that link right now.
Might as well drop it now.
Yeah.
While you're dropping it, let me just say that reality is not an illusion. And guess what? More to the point is that the law is a very real thing. Sometimes these kids almost like they lose track of the truth, which they think is like subjective, and it's not. The truth is that whether you did the looking up or you're just copying someone who did the looking up, people have looked up what's the maximum penalty for the following violation, misdemeanor, right? And so if you're just copying someone else, maybe you don't know this. But if you like didn't realize this, people are doing stuff that involves no jail time, minimum fines, like as a maximum penalty, right? But oftentimes, which a lot of people don't realize, is that violating the law, violating like a lawful order. So for example, if you're put on probation, or if you've agreed like some type of restraining order or whatever, that's a whole different type of charge. That's a whole different type of crime. And they can start pinning you now with stuff, including jail time. And a lot of these idiots don't realize that, right? Because they don't live in reality. Because guess what? Reality is not an illusion. Truth is not an illusion. The law is not an illusion. And eventually your idiocy is going to catch up with you. I can't stand this kid. This kid in particular, I can't stand this kid. Cannot stand this kid. Sorry, go ahead.
The link is like the dude. He honestly believes, and this is kind of dangerous, that he believes reality is an illusion. By the way, the link of the StreamYard is in there, so please join. Right after we read this, we will start having comments. You can, like we said, you can talk about whichever topics we talked about today. If you want to talk about what happened in Mississippi, what happened in Chicago, any one of those. The first guy, want to argue with Ruby about the first guy and his beef with the 10-year-old, anything. Or you can talk about Mizzy. That's the main topic of the day. This guy who believes reality is an illusion. Now, let's see what happens to Mizzy. Because he got hit with 3 new charges. According to reports, Mizzy was held overnight on May 26th after appearing in court on 3 separate charges the same day. Daily Mail states that he has been accused of endangering safety due to his latest locomotive prank. Judge Rose Edwin claimed that O'Garo has shown blatant disregard. Reality is an illusion. For complying with court orders. Mizzy has pleaded not guilty to the charge and will remain in custody on Edwin's orders until Tuesday, when he will make another appearance in court. According to Daily Mail, Mizzy's mother refused to let her son come back home as a result of his antics, something he mentioned in his interview with Piers Morgan, which we might go over, saying he disregarded his mother's advice, urging him to put a stop to his violent antics. The news follows Mizzy's arrest on May 26th, which was uploaded to social media. It is currently unclear if the viral video of his train escapade is directly related to the May 26th arrest or not. So this might not even be the whole thing. He might get other charges. This is how insane it is, because as we know, reality is an illusion, right? This story is actually insane. As Ruby said, we don't support this behavior. I just showed you. It's a, and some reason it's a trend, like just doing negative behavior for subs. I did a story back when I was doing news a year ago that this Russian man, his chat encouraged him to throw his wife, who was in her lingerie, just go in the room and throw her in the cold, and she ended up passing away because chat offered him 100 subs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's in Russia in the winter. Her in lingerie just threw her out, and then she passed away from hypothermia because Russia is negative 45 degrees in the winter.
Well, yeah, but here's the problem. A lot of these people, they start their channels like this, right? So in that case, for example, he was quite abusive to her in general, right? And generally the behaviors got to escalate. This is the problem with prank culture. This is the problem with Kai Cenat and what's his face. This is a problem with all of these pranksters and jokesters in general, is they have to keep escalating to keep people interested. You can't just stay at the same level. And so if you've gotten a lot of attention from being low-key abusive to your pretty hot girlfriend, right? And people keep now they see you do that, it's a weird kink fetish genre, whatever, and then they're saying, well, listen, I'm willing to reward you extra for you to up the ante. That's what they're going to keep doing, which is what they keep doing. And then you're going to keep going thinking it's all harmless, it's all good fun, and maybe your girlfriend won't talk to you for a week, but eventually you'll get her back because, hey, the money and the fame and the clout and the whatever, right? Until you go too far. And if I remember correctly, the girlfriend was actually literally at the place where she was telling him he's going too far. And there's only so much more she's going to be able to tolerate. I think I believe also she had just recently left him and then came back together with him because the abusive behavior was getting to her, right? So this is the problem, is that this type of stuff has to escalate. It has to. And because it has to escalate, they're always going to be in a position where they're just going to get dumber and dumber until people get hurt or die. That's just what it is.
That is true. It's very dangerous. Anybody that wants to join, just hit that StreamYard link. I'm finna pull up the Piers Morgan interview, and then we can talk about that. But we start with let's give some Logan Paul. The prank he did in Japan. Well, it's not a prank. What he did was just sit, because he has to continually do something more extreme until he got in trouble and almost lost his career. But he has to be more extreme. All these people continuously have to up the ante until someone ends up in trouble or in a horrible situation. But taking people's bags, stealing, he stole an old lady's dog. Like, I don't even know who finds that funny. I don't know who on earth would find stealing a dog funny. Let me go. I'm looking for.
I think it's just the fact that they do it. It's what can you get away with, right? It's kind of like devious licks, right? So that trend on TikTok, devious licks. Why did they do it? It's because it only has to do with what can you get away with, right? And this is why, going back to your story about TizzyEnt, right? TizzyEnt or Tizzy Entertainment, who, by the way, has been picked up by TYT. So I don't know. They might agree with me. I'm just saying. But it's the same thing that I'm saying, is he's coming after the kids who are running themselves like they're grown in grown folk spaces, talking to and attacking grown folk, right? And saying stuff to grown folk, not understanding that the impact of their words on grown folks' lives can be very permanent and very damaging, right? And they have no business really even interacting on that level, right? Tizzy didn't cross into the children's space. Children keep crossing into the adult space, right? And so if they're going to do that, he's going to address them and come back at them twice as hard and whatever, just like he would any adult creator. Why? Because if we don't teach them when they first start doing it, then what we're doing is we're basically telling them to be the next Mizzy. That this is what it is. Right? We are telling them that they're just children and they're allowed to do whatever they want. The rules don't really apply to them. They're actually really special. Right? And so when they want to do all of this stuff, it's okay. That's what we are telling these kids. And then they grow up to teenagers and now they're more destructive and now they have more reach because they're allowed to go places by themselves and whatever. So they're going to cause more damage. But guess what? We've already told them that they're children. They're special. The rules don't apply to them. They're a protected class, remember? So we're Why should they believe that they shouldn't do these things? Why should they when we've protected them? We're protecting them from the consequences of their own actions, starting from when they're 10 years old, wandering into adult spaces to attack a bunch of adults and try to ruin their lives because they think it's funny today. Like, it's the same thing. People are just not seeing the connection. That's all I'm saying.
Let's watch Piers Morgan interview with Mizzy. As we go through, we'll discuss it. By the way, like I said, if you got thoughts on anything from the show, I know Chicago. She's from Chicago. I know other people. Who anybody wants to join, let us know. But let's play this.
Complete morons. In California, a YouTuber and pilot faced 20 years in jail for crashing an airplane to get more subscribers. Others have jumped from city buildings, taken on wild animals, crashed cars, you name it. However mad it is, someone has tried it just for the clicks. And all in the name of becoming Insta-famous. This week, a social media prankster named Mizzy has generated headlines and abject outrage for so-called pranks, which mostly involve just terrorizing innocent bystanders.
Into random houses, let's go.
James?
James? Hello. You got a nice dog. Big gang, whole lot of gangs. We outside. I'm perfectly fine. You're gonna die. Serious question, you're gonna die.
And this is our product testing wing, where we make sure each Blue Bunny treat has the perfect amount of fun.
Well, as public anger grew this week, London's Met Police announced they were looking for Mizzy, real name Bakari Bronzagaro. The law caught up with him, and today he was fined £365 and given a criminal behaviour order, which is supposed to ban him from posting to social media without the written permission of the people in his videos. You might think that's not much of a punishment or much of a deterrent. But what does he think? Well, fresh from the courtroom, he's here now. All right, well, good evening to you.
Hello, Piers. Long time no see.
What do you mean, long time no see?
Last time I hopped on your thing with my friend.
Oh, that's right. You appeared in the background, didn't you?
Mate.
Digging into
Yeah, mate.
Okay, well, I'm not your mate.
You're
what I am is an interviewer who I'm curious about what has been motivating you to terrorise the people around where you live. Why do it?
I wouldn't really call it terrorising. I would just call it more having fun. But let's get this out of the way first. I apologise. You see this situation that blew up on the internet, the walking into random houses? The next day, I apologised to the woman because I felt bad, innit? Like, deeper than social media. Like, it went deeper than social media. That's why I didn't record it. She recorded me apologising to her. I told her sorry, and she explained that she was terrified because her children were in the house. And I understood it.
What were you doing in the house?
What was I doing in the house? I don't know. It was a stupid video. Like, I got peer pressured to say it. I don't want to say it like in that way, but...
Well, somebody else's fault.
I'm not blaming it on no one else.
I mean, you break into a house with a woman and a husband and two young kids.
I went into the house on my own accord.
No, I'm just saying, okay, you went through their door, right? But it's not your house. You're not supposed to be in there.
Oh, no shit.
You are causing a lot of alarm to that poor woman and to her children.
I do want to say something, pause right here. That right there is no remorse for what he did. Oh, he was like, yo, I got peer pressure. I apologize to her. We good, right? And then you're like, you went to somebody's house, like, no. I'm like, you're not supposed to just go in someone else's house. That's not how life works. Like I said, over in America, the one thing, because these people around here gun happy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. We already seen two unfortunate cases where people are completely innocent. Just imagine if you actually did something, because that one will be on you, sir.
But the problem is they left the door open. He didn't. They intentionally did this. They walked around until they found someone who had a front door that was open. So it's not breaking and entering. Someone walked into your front door, but you left your front door open. Right now, you could make a case for trespassing. The problem is that if he left once you told him to leave, then he's not really trespassing either. You left the door open. He wandered in. Don't leave your front door open. That's why you have one with a lock on it, right? So this is where the law gets iffy, and he knew that. That's why he did it, right? Why are you leaving? If you're old, okay, or have a family, or what? Why are you leaving your front door open? Just open, like If you need air, you get one of them screen door things. The screen door has a lock. You lock the screen door. Like, why are you leaving your front door open? Like, I don't why are you leaving any door of your house just open and then expecting people not to walk inside of it, right? Like, it's not like she left it unlocked. She left it open. You saw it in the video. He walked into an open door, and it took people a good minute to even come to the group. So if they didn't make a bunch of noise, yo, you could have walked in that house for a good minute before anyone knew you were there. Why is your front door open like that? I'm not, blaming the victim, but sort of, I guess I am, right? Because like, why is your front door open? I don't understand. Why is your front door open?
I feel like also kids are more incentivized to just act up. Like, it's like, oh, you can actually make money now. When I was young and we did stupid thing, the thing was just it was the same thing to see as far as you can go. But if it was something that can risk your life, you wouldn't do it. Like,
yeah, you would. Okay, maybe you wouldn't. I would.
But like, if I could, in my situation, if I could control it, I would have done it.
Are you serious? Me and my cousin, one time my mom said no to something me and my cousin wanted. He's a year younger than me. He's now in prison for life. I'm not, obviously, right? So divergent paths. I had two parents who loved me. He only had one who had to work like 5,000 jobs, and his dad wasn't shit. So he's in prison for life. But the point is, he was always been a little bit of a criminal mastermind, not gonna lie. So, when my mom said no to whatever it was we wanted, I think it was some commercial we saw, right? We're like 9 and 10. When my mom said no, we came up with a plan that we're gonna earn the money ourselves. We're obviously too young to work. No one would even trust us to like babysit. Not that we knew any babies, but So we came up with a plan. We were just going to make it just a small bomb threat, no big deal, right? And then tell a bunch of people in my building, because we lived in an apartment building at the time. So tell a bunch of people in the building that there's a bomb, and we're going to set off the bomb unless they gave us the money we're asking for. So we divided it up, and I think we needed to ask for $20 per household. We needed to ask like 25 households, and then we would be able to have enough money for whatever it was we wanted, something like that. So we typed out the letter, bomb threat, We came up with the plan. We said, okay, we'll tell them they have to bring the money to the lobby, because we can't tell them what apartment we live in. We're not stupid, right? So you have to drop it off in the lobby. And like, I can't remember. We came up with the whole thing. Then we dropped all the letters off, like on a floor, a couple floors away from mine. And we put the letters down. And then we did Nicky 9 doors. When like you run and you like knock, and you run and you knock. So we knocked down the whole damn hallway, running and whatever, like insanely. Remember, we're doing a bomb threat. A bomb threat. Yeah, no, it never occurred to us we should not do the bomb threat. Like, it never occurred to us. Like, we actually we used to mess around with the cops too. Like, dude, it never occurred to us that we should not do some of these things. Well, with the cop thing, we were a little bit younger, but like, no, it never occurs to kids until someone teaches them that their actions have consequences. So if you decide that children are a protected class and they're protected specifically from consequence, then no, they're never going to learn that their actions have consequences. And you get an idiot like this who's running around doing what he's doing, and guess what? He's right. His actions don't have consequences. So why shouldn't he do whatever he wants? Why not? Right? Like, I stopped doing stuff like that when my actions started giving me consequences. Like, there was no consequence to that action that we did, by the way, right? We also didn't collect any money because we realized it would be very dumb for us to show up in the lobby.
He got incentive to do it. Like, they make money doing this.
Yeah, but like, that's what my whole point is, right? There's lots of things you can make money doing, right? So you could go rob a bank and make lots of money. You could go rob a diamond jeweler and make lots of money. There's lots of things you could do to make a lot of money. A lot of criminal things you could do to make a lot of money. So it's not just about the incentive, right? It's actually literally about fearing the consequence versus the reward. And is risking that consequence worth the reward? If there's no consequence, then you just take that out and it's all about your reward. And that's it, because there's no consequence. What's the consequence? What consequence did he live with? Promise us you're not going to do it again, young man. That was basically his consequence. Like, why you guys are seeing on his face right now? that there's like, it's not even arrogance. He just literally thinks this is irrelevant. Like, he's like, these old white people want to ask me some dumb questions about some dumb stuff. And that's all he's thinking in his head. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. You know why? Because there's no consequence. There's none. There's nothing. He's risking nothing. So he might not get the reward he wants, but guess what? He's probably going to get a lot of reward. And what's the consequence? What's the worst case scenario?
It is true. It's no consequences. He don't have any remorse. Like most of the things I did when I was a child, mostly could hurt me. So it wasn't like, hey, I'm finna do this one-time bomb off this ladder off the top of my roof because I saw it in wrestling. And it could have ended badly. But other than that, it wasn't. Outside the one time I thought that my teacher was lying to me so I could set the school on fire, but still think he's lying this day. But other than that, it ain't nothing like that.
Sorry, can we highlight Vonda's comment? Because I really want to respond to it. Because here's the thing. An open door is absolutely an invitation. That's like literally what an open door is. An open door is an invitation. If you're having a party, right? Like the thing about, I remember this like as a kid, you would know which house was having the party by the one that had the door open. Like real talk. Like, so what it would like, it would be like their inside door would be open, their screen door would be closed, but their inside door would be open or whatever, right? You would always know which house was having the party because that would be the one with the open door. So yes, an open door is absolutely an invitation. That's why it's open. You're literally leaving it open. That is an invitation to easily pass into your house. Now, I understand that you might not want it to be an invitation, but it is. That's why you don't leave your doors open. Right? Now, if you close the door and you don't lock it, then you could say that's not an invitation because it's not, right? The door is closed. I've officially closed the door. I've officially told you you're not welcome in. Teenagers know this. Children know this. When they want privacy, what do? They go into the room and they do what? They close the door. When they're okay, they just want to be in their room and chill, watch TV, but they're cool with company. What do? They leave the door open. Why? Because an open door is an invitation. I know you don't like it. I know. But I'm just saying, it is 100% an invitation.
Canada must be nice because to me, where I'm from, you leave the door open. That's a setup. That is a setup. No, it's not clear. What if the mom burns the chicken? See, that's a country thing. See that I'm from the country. That is something to happen.
Then you open a window. If you're the kind of person who likes to open the front and the back door, then you get a screen for the front and the back door, and the screen has a lock. So then your actual door is open, but the screen is locked. So therefore, people cannot freely walk into your house still. They still would have to bypass this little pathetic, measly layer of security. But it's not about how strong the lock is. It's about the fact that you have a door there still preventing people from just easily accessing in and out of your house. Like that's what it is. I'm sorry, Vonda, but an open door is an invitation. It's what it is.
Vonda, you can come up. As you can see, the link is in the link tree. So if you want to get your point across in more than the letters they can, you can certainly come up. Anybody else that want to, it is available. But listen, where I'm from, leaving the front door open is kind of dangerous, but
see, it could be dangerous, but what it's not is an announcement to everybody that you should not enter my house. Like no one would think that. Why is it dangerous? Because it's an invitation to people who would want to take your stuff, that this is going to be really easy to enter your house in particular and take your stuff, right? I mean, like that's what it is. That's why it's dangerous, right? So
listen, I do agree with Ruby that you don't just leave your door open. Because it is very dangerous. It's not an I don't agree. I do. Hold up. Let me clarify. I don't agree that it's an invitation, but I do agree that it's not a good idea. You should not leave your door open. I don't think it's an invitation, but you should not leave your door open because you don't know who running in. You don't know who trying to get some. If they might, even though I would assume that you wouldn't leave your house with the door open because that is very dumb. But so I'm assuming that you're in there, and I would hope you have something on you in case somebody do come in your door, because that's what I was talking about. It gets a little dangerous because I ain't leaving the door open without something on me. But again, to Ruby's point earlier in the show, maybe I'm from Mississippi, so a lot less like, okay, listen, maybe I'm used to living a little more dangerous than you. Like you come in the door,
yes,
you are
because
you got to be met.
Right. You live in a place where you could say, dude, lynching does not happen frequently here all the time, man. Like the last time was like all the way back in 2017. You live in a place where that's a normal statement. Okay. So yeah, no, you live in a much more dangerous place than England or even me in Canada. Right. Like and I'm not saying that you should leave your door open in Canada either. But I used to have a significant issue with not locking the door. Could not be bothered. No one's walking around trying doors, and like no one's ever getting robbed in my area. So it was kind of like, what was the point?
True. We do have Vanda with us. Shout out to Vanda.
Hey, Vanda. Vanda's like, listen, I'm not letting Ruby and this foolishness stand by itself. I refuse. I see you, Vanda. I see you. What's up, girl?
You know what?
Can you hear? I just want to make sure you can hear Rube.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Okay, we got it down. We were working on
Okay.
that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Miss Ruby. I knew you wanted to fight. I could tell. I could tell. Now, the way that I see it is that it's fine to leave your door open. It was broad daylight. And even though the door is open, it doesn't mean that you have the right to walk into my home. Now, like I stated in my comment, you know, a stray dog could wander in, a cat, a bird might fly in. Those are not necessarily thinking human creatures. So with this Mizzy person, he has a mind and he can reason. And he knew better, which is why he apologized to the woman. Okay.
Well, I mean, did he apologize to the
Now-
woman because he knew better, or because they said, if you want only a slap on the wrist, young man, you better apologize to that woman? Like, did he mean it, or did he just say words that he clearly didn't mean?
I think it was an afterthought.
Mhm.
You know, after he found out how, you know, scared she was. But okay, this is not to get off the subject. But did you hear about that story where that 15-year-old boy was taken off this earth by the father of the girl he came to see at that home?
Yes.
He wasn't welcome at that home, and he was told not to come to that home. And he went to that home. And he is no longer here. Now that was an extreme situation, and it was also a situation where the father or, you know, the occupants of the home had prior contact with him,
Right.
to be able to say, hey, don't come back. But this guy could have easily met the same fate. I learned from a little kid. I'm talking a wee little kid. You don't walk into nobody's house. I don't care if the door is open or you don't know what you're going to find. You don't know what's in there.
See, I agree with you on that. I'm not saying that see, there's two different sides to this, right? So when I address Mizzy, right, it's different than when I'm addressing the homeowner. They're actually, I have two completely different perspectives, and they both have a lot to do with self-accountability, right? So you know, I would tell Mizzy, if you got shot and killed for what you did, you would deserve it and they shouldn't go to prison, right? But with that being said, is an open door an invitation? Yes. And so when you said like, well, it's broad daylight. Yes, the broad daylight part, why is that important to us? Because people tend to not commit crimes unless they have some type of shadow, some type of covering, something, you know, it's like, it feels like, oh, you don't rob someone's house in the middle of the day. Like that would be crazy, right? So we feel safer, like safe from crime during the day, not because, you know, the rules of, you know, entry to our house are different, but just because literally criminals tend to want to work in the dark so they could be less easily noticed and identified. But when it comes to the open door thing, right? Why do people not leave their doors open? Because they understand inherently that it's an invitation. It's an invitation for people they don't want to have access to their house, right? This is the same reason why you wouldn't tell someone you didn't lock your door, right? When you left, because you're inviting that person to enter your house without your authorization. Now, is it okay for someone to trespass on your property? Is it okay for people to take advantage of that? No, I'm not saying that. If Mizzy decides to show up in these people's houses and these people grabbed a gun and told him get out, and then they tripped and then they shot him and now he's dead, they would have full rights because someone they did not invite into their home wandered into their home anyway, right? But should he have been able to wander to their home? No. Did he literally pick the one house with the door open? Yes. In fact, they intentionally wandered around and you saw them filming until they found a door open. So like literally in their video, they're telling you they were looking for the invitation and they waited till they found one. Why? Because the law is different. If they had to open a door, even if it was unlocked, that would be breaking and entering. It would be a completely different crime. It would be a felony and there would be jail time involved. But because the door was open, it is now a misdemeanor trespass at worst, no crime, no jail time. Do you see what I'm saying? So even the law looks at it as it's an invitation. The door was open. So even if you shouldn't have been there, still an invitation. And it literally lessens your crime.
So you're only basing it on what the law says?
Well, and also my logic, right? I mean, because if I think about it, right? Think about like, and this is what I was saying with like teenagers, right? Or like kids in a house or yourself in a house. So you might want to be in your room, your own room. Like, let's say you live with like siblings and stuff, whatever, right? Like when you're a kid, you might want to be in your room because that's where your stuff is, right? But you might not need privacy. So when you don't need privacy, but you want to be in your room, you go into your room, the door stays open. Then people know that you're not looking to be left alone. You're not looking for privacy. So they're basically free to walk in and out as they want, and call on you because you don't need the privacy. Because if you needed privacy, right? If you wanted to shut off that invitation, what would you do? You would close the door. Just in and of itself, you closing the door is saying no free access. No, you can't just walk up in here. No, you can't just look and see what I'm doing. If you want access, you're going to need to do something to gain access, like say knock, right? So even from like an early age, we are taught that an open door is an invitation and a closed door is not an open invitation.
No. You know what it means? Open door means you poke your head in the doorway and say, hey, is anybody here? Can I come in? Are you busy? Even my bedroom door. Don't you just come through my bedroom door. So there you have it, Ruby. We don't agree.
No, we don't. We normally don't. I mean, in general, so every time we say that, people are like, yeah, right, they agree this time. Yeah, it actually doesn't happen as often as you would think that we agree on things. But
I do understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
I really do. I'm that flexible in my thinking that I can understand why, someone would think that. But he knew the law and he purposely looked for an open door. And when he found that open door, he knew that, the consequences, if caught and the police and all of that, they would be minimal.
Yep.
So he played off of that. Now, what I wonder is, regarding their law, could they have used, brute force because this man trespassed, past the threshold? I think if I burn some chicken in my house, I have a right to leave my door open and not have some full-fledged grown man walk through my door calling out people's names.
I think if he had stayed within the threshold, there would be no crime. So, right, just like, you can't say someone is trespassing on your property if they walk up your, front walkway and get to your front door and knock on your door, right? That's not a crime. If you had the door open and someone came into your front threshold, came into the front threshold, that's not a crime. Just like cops can come into your front threshold and anything they can see from your front threshold, right, is fair game, right? But they cannot cross beyond that without a warrant or your express permission, right? There's a reason for that. So it's like there's this area of your home, which is that front entrance, kind of for the front hearth or whatever, and that's for welcoming unwelcome visitors, in essence, right? Like, state your business, sir. Why are you here? What do you want? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to decide whether or not I want to allow you in to sit down and continue, or whether I'm going to tell you to get out now, right? So there's that front entrance. If they had just walked into the door and stood inside the front, there would be no crime. And that's the difference. The reason why there's a crime is because they continued walking without any type of invitation or whatever, or even a real attempt to try to get someone's attention before they continued moving. It was very clear what they were doing. They're intentionally trying to trespass, right? So I think that's why there's an actual crime.
He sat on their couch. So he literally sat on their couch
and put his feet up. I think that's a blatant part. He put his feet up.
Yes.
Can you imagine someone sat in your nice showroom couch, the one that you don't let anyone sit on? It's just there so people can look at it, and then they sit on it and then they put their feet up, like on your couch, on your table. They put their filthy, you don't know where their feet have been, feet on your stuff.
They probably don't even want his feet on their floor. It's like he just violated their home. That's just.
Didn't he have shoes on?
Yes.
His shoes on.
He had shoes on. I don't know if Britain's like here. So in Canada, right, we take our shoes off. Like, people do not wear their shoes around their house. Americans wear their shoes around their house, right? But like, Canadians do not. So it would be a super disrespect to wear shoes around the house. I don't know if Britain is like more like America or more like us, though. Does anyone know?
One rule is, I know black people, I know for a fact you don't just sit on a black person couch at all. You have to get the, hey Vonda, they have to, in America, you have to get the little wrap, put around, your grandma put the wrap around the couch. In America, what you do, you get the little wrap and you just put it around the couch. You just, don't sit on that couch until I get it fixed up. And it'd be like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Couch covers.
Couch cover, yeah. Don't you put your feet on no couch. You don't even put your feet to lay down. Get it off. But yeah, like
what I think is interesting. Oh,
your couch smelling like feet. Get your funky feet up off my couch.
True. Wanda, I want to say for the record, Mama Rubes is right here. Basically saying that she agrees with you. And she raised me. So what went wrong there, Mom? I'm just saying. I mean, I just say she raised me.
See, that's you know what? I said chicken, fish. You know what? You got to air that house out.
Well, that is true. That is true, right? But I think that's the thing. I don't know. No, honestly, I wouldn't say my other parent would actually allow for wandering into your house either. So I don't know, but I'm like, I guess for me, maybe it had to do more with the way that my parents behaved and the choices that they would both make about things that let me know, like, no, under no uncertain terms do they want randoms wandering into their house. So then I guess it suggests to me that if you do the opposite, it means you're okay with people wandering into your house. Like, I remember, so Mama Rubes, right? I remember when we got like a house, right? And it's like, oh, you want to air out the house, whatever. She's always so big on air. But like, if she wanted to do that, no one was allowed to walk away from where the door was, because we need to be able to see the door at all times. And by we, I mean me, right? Because I'm like the child, so no one cares about my feelings. Who cares if I had something to do that day? No. Now I'm watching a door because she wanted to air out the house. But the point is someone had to watch it. Like, this family, no one was watching even the room that was adjoining to the door. They were gone. They were just all gone. These people fully walked up in the house and crossed nobody for a good minute. People had to come from way up and down stairs and all kinds of stuff to get to the place where the interlopers were. Like, that to me suggests, like, dude, they have like an open door policy to the point where they're not even sensitive about someone walking up in the house, because they just assume it's someone they know, right? Because they have this open door policy. And then when they realize it's not someone they know, that's when someone started going, whoa, 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 let's go fix this. But like, dude, do you like, listen, I'm not saying he's
nice
right.
area. They gotta live in a nice area.
It's most, yeah, no, probably is. And that's why he did it, right? Because if you live somewhere where you don't get to have guns like that, right? Then if you're going to violate that type of social norm, you're going to do it in a nice area, right? Because in a nice area, there's a lot more politeness and, you know, a lot less violence and aggression when someone violates your social norms, right? Because you don't have to be violent and aggressive to protect your stuff when you're in the upper middle class or in the upper class, right? You don't have to. You have money and power. So probably that's exactly why he picked that kind of area versus a lower class area where, dude, sometimes all you have is respect and dignity and integrity. So if someone just crossing your threshold without your permission, that's going to be a can of ass whoop for you. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, just
listen, we are
they're not
saying this.
idiots.
We are saying this in America that you be handled, but in America you might be in trouble too. We do next June 12th, and I'm doing this story on Thursday. Travis Rudolph in Florida. Dude came to his house with a gun. I'm gonna break the story down. Stand your ground law seemed not to affect him, but it affected the guy who chased the kid up the road. That's not his house. But when the guy come to your house with a gun, stand your ground don't work the same. So we're gonna go over that story next week. Just wanna plug. I'm gonna go over it Thursday, then we're gonna go over it June 12th. Ruben, what we got next Monday?
Well, BMT is going to be a special guest, and we are going to be talking about the black pill and transmaxing. So that's going to be an interesting discussion because for all that certain spaces want to blame women for everything, it's very, very clear that the ideology of a bunch of young boys and men becoming trans, and I don't mean like trans like as in they're trans, they identify as women. They identify as men, but they've been told by the black pill that they will never be successful as men and they will never get any as men, and the only way that they'll ever have any type of love or attention or positive validation is by dressing up as the opposite sex. And so that way, in essence, other guys can take advantage of them. And that's in essence really what it is. But we're going to go really deep into it. I'm working on basically like a documentary style thing to tell y'all from the way that this cult kind of started and to show y'all really the ins and outs. It's going to be interesting because, you know, they call the left, they call women, there's so many different people that they want to, especially I'll say the conservatives, and that includes right now the manosphere, because the manosphere is very conservative, right? And so they want to blame everybody else for corrupting people. And then if you actually look into it though, who corrupted people in this case? It was not women. It wasn't the LGBTQ community. It wasn't the leftists. Okay, it was their own, because they were incels and they couldn't get any from women, so they decided to make some more effeminate looking straight men their targets.
That is true. I also want to add, Mama Roots. Did you know your daughter was making bum threats as a child?
I think I told her. I do think, because we had like a printer, right? And it was like one of those old printers that has like the holes at the side of the printer, and it like all the papers are attached. And we printed it, whatever, and we went and dropped off all them papers. We were left alone a lot, me and my cousin, or with like someone who was like old and not paying attention to us or something. Bro, I remember one time, I can't remember what it was, with the police. The police told us we need to stop crank calling, and then we were really sure the police were coming for us, and then like we were hiding, and then someone was banging on the door, and so I hid my cousin in like this crawl space in the wall, and then like I went to open the door, and it was actually my uncle, and then I didn't want to get in trouble, so I wasn't gonna go like free my cousin right away. He was stuck in that wall for a good minute. He was really upset when I finally let him out. Or the time that we went wandering around lost in Malton because our ball was over the fence and we needed to get. It was a whole thing. We got into a lot of trouble. Yeah, a lot of trouble.
Also, Vonda, do you have any stories from your childhood that you acted up in that my God,
Vonda was a good girl, I bet. Yeah.
So any stories?
Child. I mean, like regarding.
Well, like any like trouble? Yeah. Do you get into any type of real trouble ever? Because everything you've ever told me suggests that you were like the good girl. That's it.
Well, put it this way. There were 4 of us coming up. So if something happened, there was a no snitch policy in our household with the kids. So if you didn't tell who did it, everybody got it.
Ooh.
So I got a lot of whoopings where everybody got it because nobody would tell who really did it.
Ooh. Ooh, that's rough. Mm.
Very
So you didn't do it, but you got whooping because somebody else did it.
Mm.
Yes, I did.
That's wickedness.
And
Mm.
I didn't tell. I should have told.
That's so mean. That's so mean. Well, I think, listen, we're about to wrap up, but before we do, I just wanted to give you an opportunity, Vonda. Were there any other stories over the last week you really wanted to speak your 2 cents on before we close that?
Well, just to touch a little bit more on Mizzy, am I correct that this fool crashed the plane?
Yeah, he's the one who crashed the plane, right? So?
No, I think that was another YouTuber from Europe.
Okay, I was going to say.
He stole a dog. He ran to people's houses. He harassed the old woman. But he's not the one that crashed the plane. He's more of a prankster. That dude was just trying to get clout for his clicks. He's more like probably those YouTubers that were harassing that guy for subs. That guy was probably more of that ilk. So he was just doing stupid things. He probably more of my ilk when I was younger. I'll probably be in more of that lane where I just do something completely stupid that might harm me more so than him, even though I think that is way stupid. But that would be 7-year-old me, and 7-year-old me couldn't fly a plane. So thank God for that.
Well, see, what I'm noticing with these YouTubers is that there's a lot of them that are doing these pranks. And, there's going to come a time you're going to come up with the wrong person with this prank. Not everybody is playing, and not everybody has time for it.
Mm-hmm. That's so facts.
I just think they need to be really careful.
Mm-hmm.
You might even come across someone who knows exactly who you are and know exactly what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and they use that as an opportunity because they're mean-spirited and they want to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So they hurt this YouTuber and they get off because this person invaded their space or privacy, or the law says, hey, this isn't a crime because this is what this person did to him.
You know what? And honestly, I'm definitely going to, because we've talked about a few of like them kind of individually, but I do have the like the TikTok trend video, which has a lot more of these, and because a lot of these, what you're talking about now has actually been happening. We haven't talked about it much, but it is in the longer video. The TikTok video, though, is like, it's really long. I'm trying to cut it down so that way the premiere is a little shorter, but I think I'm just going to end up having to run with like an hour-long premiere, and it is what it is. But that's exactly what's happening. And now TikTokers, like these prankers and whatever, either people already know that they're a problem, right? Or it doesn't matter that they know you or not. Right? They're not responding to these things like it's a joke or a trick or whatever. And these TikTokers and pranksters are getting seriously injured or dying. And I mean like seriously injured, and people are not turning around and treating them like they're kids pranking something. No, you violated this grown-up space or at their workplace or whatever, and they don't like it, and they're gonna treat you like you did them something. And it's worked out really badly, but no one talks about it. No one advertises it. These kids don't seem to know. So, or if they don't know, they don't think it could happen to them. Because like how kids are. Kids think that, they're invincible. The rules don't apply to them. So they just keep going. It's really scary.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
It's actually one that it was actually a YouTuber that got shot for playing a prank. He tried to steal somebody's groceries. And when he got to the car, he just pulled and shot him. And that's the one that Alba and Gideon got. If y'all don't know who Alba and Gideon, they got in a little argument over. But yeah, you can't just take something from somebody and not expect results.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Or like a guy, like one of the kids, he was just like, it's just, you don't understand how other people are going to react to things. It was just like making like really loud noises. And the guy, he made a really loud noise. Apparently this was like a vet who still had PTSD to really, strong loud. So he turned around and swung, and he really hurt that kid. But why were you doing this? Like, you intentionally petrified him and you triggered something in this man's brain. Y'all don't know these people. Y'all don't know them. You don't know how important those groceries were to that man whose kids are all starving, haven't eaten in 4 days. He finally borrowed this money. You don't know what he had to do for that money in order for him to finally feed these kids. And now you want to take that? Y'all don't know who you're playing with. And they want to keep playing with people. And it's like, again, this is why, again, I don't have a problem with Tizzy Entertainment and what he's doing to these 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds and whatever, because they don't think the rules apply to them. And they're going to be sadly mistaken, because they're going to keep escalating and they're going to keep having no consequence. Not even adults being able to talk back to them and show them, no, this is really your place in the society, young buck. So you better watch it. Like, no, we're not allowed to even tell them about themselves. We're not even allowed to say, hey, listen, here's some social, here's some social consequence. So we're not allowed to do that. Or you're a pedo and you can try to ruin this whole man's like reputation and stuff because he's willing to treat 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds who want to come into the adult spaces and then attack adults. He's willing to treat them like adults and give them adult consequences for once, because nowhere else is. Right? So what do you expect? What do you think made Mizzy? What do you think made Mizzy? Mizzy was that 10-year-old kid, that 15-year-old kid who the world sat there and caped for, let him do whatever he wants. So it's okay. Who cares? It's just a 12-year-old calling you a pedo. Who cares if your boss fired you because a 12-year-old called you a pedo online, even though it's not true? Who cares? Who cares? They're 12. Who cares? And then what happened?
Many young people see social media
Now you have Mizzy sitting there and breaking into a conductor train. What do you think he's gonna do next? Do you think it's gonna be nothing? Like, no, like he's going to do something really dangerous one day. Even his friends aren't gonna be in on it. And then you know what's gonna happen, right? Is he's gonna kill people. That's what's gonna happen. And he's gonna go to prison for life for killing people because nobody gave him consequences all the way up until this point in time.
For himself.
Exactly.
It'll be his demise.
It's crazy. And like, it's like, you gotta wonder, where were the parents at? Like, where are the parents? Why, like no one's raising these kids. Like, they're really letting the internet raise the kids. So if we're letting the, you know what, listen, remember back in the days when we were latchkey kids, right? There was a fair amount, maybe not for me personally, but right, in a lot of communities, there was a fair amount of social raising. That is to say, your parents could not be up on you 24/7, raising you and guiding you and teaching you and da, right? And so a lot of us, Black people, descendants of slavery, especially, we were raised in almost like a group kind of way. So like the community was raising you in a lot of ways, right? Someone in the community could beat your ass just as much as your parents could. When people who were raised in Jamaica used to tell me that if they got in trouble in school, they could, teacher's going to beat their ass. Then they're walking home and, Mr. So-and-so who lives down the block would beat their ass for, because they got in trouble at school. And like, this would happen to them the whole way they got home. And then when they got home, their mama would beat their ass because all these other people had to beat their ass because they were doing bad in school. Do you see what I'm saying? So it was like this community kind of decision making that was happening to raise these kids, even when you weren't present. And it's like, it used to be like that, even not that long ago, when there was social media. I remember there was this man, and y'all might remember this. There was a man, and a kid tried to steal something from him. And he said, okay, listen, you got two options. I'm either going to call the police on you, or I'm going to whoop your ass. Which one you want? And the kid chose, okay, I'll whoop my ass then, right? And he chose that. But, that used to be the thing. I'm going to let you reason this out, young buck, because these are your options. You did something wrong. You're going to catch a consequence. Here are the two consequences I'm willing to give you. And people wanted to tell that man he was wrong and he abused a child and and whatever. And I'm like, no, we used to do this. We used to allow there to be community consequences, right? And we wanted the community to catch our kid and give our kid consequences before the law came and gave our kid consequences. Because as we saw with the young Mr. Murry, when the law catches our kids and gives them consequences, whether they deserve them or not, oftentimes they don't survive. So, I think that's what it is. I think that this kid, Mizzy, he just needs a few people to catch him. Do you know what I mean? Like with that white girl, Catch Me Outside girl, Catch Me Outside. How about that? You know what happened to her? I don't know if y'all know this, but immediately after that, for like a couple years. The girl stayed inside for a long time because people kept catching her outside and beating her ass. It was so funny, and they were recording it, putting it online. Catch me outside, I have a dad. So they kept catching her and beating her, and so she started hiding inside for like years. Dude, sometimes that's what you need.
She asked him.
You know,
egged him on.
You know, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think Mizzy just needs a few people to catch him and beat his ass. I think those Asian people with that guy on the train, they should have just beat his ass. He would have stopped doing it. If the person chasing him, if someone had just beat his ass, just a couple of them, right? It would have been done. He would have stopped with all this Hiroshima stuff. Mizzy would not be on that train doing whatever, right? People need natural consequences for their actions, or they'll keep doing them. That's what I think.
I agree with that.
See, well, okay, there you go, Vonda. Now we're agreeing again. I don't know what to do with you. No, I'm kidding.
Now the rumor's gonna start that they agree all the time. Look at it. Just one time.
I know. Embarrassing. No, I'm kidding.
It's not normal. It's very rare.
It is. But I mean, I think it's been a great show. Thank you so much for coming up, Vonda, for our third call-in show. It's very exciting. We're trying to build something.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You guys are very gracious to me. Thank you.
You're awesome. And like, it's Memorial Day and you still came up and graced us with your presence. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One day we get done Tizzy up there when he's not partying. So shout out to my guy.
Right?
Yeah, I can't wait to get done Tizzy up there.
Right? I want to hear some of this comedic foolishness, right? You know, like up on the actual panel instead of just always down in the peanut gallery.
I think Bobby tried to get on. I don't know what happened, but it disconnected somehow. So I don't know what happened, but he was going to join, but I don't know what happened.
Oh, did he? Oh, he's going to be on planes and stuff. I feel really bad for Bobby. I'm really sorry about that last story. If I knew you were going to be flying and stuff tonight / tomorrow, I would not have done that story. I am sorry. Or I would have warned you first.
Yeah, you spooked him.
I know. I'm a terrible friend. I feel so bad. Thank you for supporting us anyway. I won't put it out until you're back home. So you let me know when you're going to be back home. And then I promise I will not put out the individual story until after that. So there you go. Sorry.
But again, happy Memorial Day.
Yes.
Hope y'all had a good time. Hope y'all saw your family, enjoyed them, ate good. If you got anybody in the military, hope you represented them well with American old barbecue and partying. Because in America, we celebrate death by drinking and eating hamburgers.
Well then, yeah, that's
the American way, Ruben. That's how we do that. We shoot guns, eat hamburgers, and celebrate the dead by getting drunk. Shout out to Tupac.
Hey, as long as it works for Americans, everything's bigger in Texas, and that's what I know about America.
I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Y'all see it right here. Hit that link. Hit that link for the Spotify and all that. Hit that link tree. We got that one. So hit that link tree for the Spotify, Amazon, Rumble. Whenever we got all that stuff. Instagram, Twitter. Most stuff will be out this week. I was gone, so I didn't get to complete all of it, but I do got a few videos ready to go out soon. So we're going to finish them up and we're going to have it done. I was on the beach enjoying myself, so I do appreciate that. Ruby, any last word? Vonda, we're going to get out of here.
Well, everybody have a great rest of your holiday, and I'll see you at the next one.
Yes, and the next one will be Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I understand we never start at 7:30 p.m., but that is our start time. So we'll see if Thursday is the charm. It wasn't today, but at least we did it on Monday, right? So like we're working on it. We're working on it. I hope you guys.
8:33. So we said 8:30 in the community tab. We were 3 minutes off. We're closer.
Yeah, we were only an hour and 3 minutes off of the original time and only 3 minutes off of the new time. So yay us. I hope you guys like the comments because Zal made it happen. So now your comments pop up on the screen and stuff, and we can do that. So that's cool. I like it. I think it's neat. Yeah, and I guess I'll see you guys on Thursday. Or actually, well, maybe in the comments. Some of y'all comment and stuff. I will announce stuff on the community tab. I don't even know. You know what? Yes. Happy Memorial Day. Love y'all.
All right, peace.
Peace out.